The first 6 months, I didn't want to open the boxes because I was in fear. I was like, and
Oh
all my
yeah.
friends in London were like, come back, you can stay with
Oh,
us. And I was like, I'm exhausted. I really need to settle. And,
mm,
the fact that we were close to the beach, my daughter loved it. I loved it too. We needed that time, but it
okay.
was so hard because I couldn't understand the the whole French system. I couldn't understand it. I left. I was 22 years old,
Oh yeah.
very much protected by my parents. I was under their umbrella basically. So I didn't have my own social security number, which was
Right.
a struggle to get back. And I had not experienced France as an adult basically, and all my
Yeah.
friends were already living like that in France, but I wasn't. So everything was hard. I was very far from my friends. We knew nobody there, and then the schools were very difficult for my daughter as well. She went to two amazing schools in London. The first one, when she was 2, was Montessori, an English Montessori school. So she stayed there for 2 or 3 years, and then she was at a French school in London that was bilingual, and had priority for the lycée français.
Oh yeah.
It was an amazing school. There were
Mm.
like 16 kids in each
Wow. So
class.
yeah, a lot of the international schools are very
Yeah,
small
and
scale, which is nice.
yeah, one English teacher, one French teacher. So it was just like, yeah, it was amazing. It was really amazing. So the difference was quite a shock. I mean,
For
it
context, in French schools, you're often 30 kids for one teacher. So it's
absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely. So it was very difficult to understand how the system worked because I realized as well that my vocabulary had shrunk.
Oh.
So I was not using as much French as I used to before moving to London because I was never much with French people.
But at home with your daughter, would you speak French or English in London?
In London, we would speak both. I would spend some time speaking French for her to really understand French.
Okay. Yeah.
Kids, what they do usually, they only speak the language of the country when they live in that country. So she would answer me in English, but I would often speak French.
Speak in French still.
Yeah, we would read
Okay.
like 2, 3 books a night at least, and one of them was in French, the others were in English, and so it was,
Mix
um,
of both.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, so you were saying, yeah, you had lost a bit of the vocabulary and this understanding the system of how things worked in France.
Yes, it was very hard. So it took me quite a while to understand things. I had to reapply for the social security 6 times because every time something went wrong, and so I went through the whole thing. And this is why
Yeah.
I understand how people feel like when they move to France.
When they arrived, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it is hard. It is very hard.
And so how did you sort of settle in as you went? Because this was quite a few years ago now.
That was 2009. Yes.
Okay, so how did you day after day, month after month, make it a bit more of your home and feel comfortable again there?
Yes, well, I had to, I had to do it. I mean, I was the only one raising my child.
Yeah, right.
I had no family, I had no one, so I had to really make it through for her. I didn't want her to suffer too much because it was already a big move when you're 6 years
Mm,
old and you have
yeah.
not only one country. So I started doing lots of research, started trying to understand things. I made a few friends there, and they advised me, and I would just get as much information as possible and research as much as possible. I
Okay.
love researching things, so that's how I really got
That's
to
your
understand
process.
it. And
Okay.
obviously, I made loads of mistakes. So
Well,
you learn.
everyone does.
This is the only way to learn, mistakes. So yeah, that's how I did that. I managed to rent an apartment, and then settled slowly. The school thing was as well a bit difficult, but eventually we managed to settle, and my daughter loved being on the seaside, and so that was really
That was
rewarding.
the